The kettle whistled just as tires cracked over gravel. I moved to the lace-curtained window and saw Darren's SUV roll in, Kalissa beside him, sunglasses on despite the dim sky. A practiced arrival unannounced. I hadn't expected them not. Today, not ever without reason. Still, I poured water over chamomile leaves. Sometimes calm has to be brewed before it's needed. They entered like they belonged to the house. Kalissa's hug was airlight, her perfume laced with citrus and something sharp. She set a sleek thermos on the table. Ashwagandha, oat milk, cinnamon, your favorites. She chirped, rehearsed brightness. Darren opened his tablet before even sitting. Slides glowed across the screen. Glossy cabins, yoga decks, influencers beaming in curated sunlight. GlowNest has potential. We just need capital. 200,000. You'd be an official investor. I sipped the tea, though it tasted like soil washed thin. I let him speak. Let the numbers flow. Let the silence between us tighten. When he finally asked for a commitment, I leaned forward. There's no fallback plan, no cosigners, no safeguards. I can't support what isn't grounded. My voice was calm but firm. Darren's jaw stiffened, just enough to betray him. Kalissa's fingers smoothed the tablecloth. Of course, she said. We understand. They left before the pot cooled that night. I thought of their faces, Kalissa's smile stretched too thin, Darren's eyes flicking away whenever I said no. I dreamt of water, still on the surface, dark beneath. The next morning, Kalissa called. Brunch at their lake house. Something special. Just for you. Her tone had honey in it. Too sweet to be real. I went late on purpose. The lake shimmered with false calm. The house smelled of incense and grapefruit oil. Kalissa met me in linen, arms open, mug ready before I even set down my bag. Cinnamon. Oat milk. Just the way you like it. The mug was warm, the glaze smooth, too smooth, like it had never been touched. I carried it to the deck, fingers stiff around the handle. We ate lavender scones beneath August sun. Darren talked property prices, voice detached, almost bored. Kalissa nodded along, smiling too quickly, too brightly. I lifted the mug and paused. Cinnamon? Yes. But beneath it's something bitter, metallic. My hand froze mid-motion. My body said no before my mind found the words. Her phone buzzed. She excused herself, soft heels on planks, voice already shifting into another performance. I leaned over, steady, and switched my mug with Iana's. She reached for honey, never noticing the exchange. It took 40 minutes. Long enough for small. Talk to dissolve into silence, for the sun to turn sharp. Then Iana stood, reached for the dock, and collapsed. The sound echoed across the lake like a hollow drum. Kalissa screamed beautifully, perfectly timed. Darren fumbled with his phone, shouting her name like a script. I sat still, hands folded, watching the mug that should have been mine dot at the ER. The machines breathed for her. The toxicology lit up, synthetic benzaldehyde. Rare but dangerous. Kalissa's tears dried quickly enough to form excuses. Must have been the almond creamer, we just opened it. Darren added quickly, she drinks. Powders from markets, strange tinctures. You never know what's in them. The doctor nodded politely. I said nothing, but I remembered the black bulb camera under their eaves. The next day, I returned to the lake house. The scarf I carried was only pretense. I moved through the empty rooms, the scent of incense clinging faintly. At the kitchen window, the camera blinked once. I plucked the SD card, slid a post-it the color of paint over the gap. They would not notice. By evening, I was in Halder's shed. Old clocks ticked, a radio hummed. He slid the card into his battered reader. The footage flickered grainy, but clear. Kalissa entered the kitchen, vial in hand, and tilted the dropper. 2 drops, maybe 3, into a mug. Tatiana's mine. Her hands didn't tremble. Her face stayed serene, saintly. "Play it again," I whispered. This time I watched her eyes. They never darted. They never doubted. That night, I pulled out my old will untouched since Julian's death. Darren's name filled the page, the trust, the savings, the house. I smoothed the creases flat, uncapped a pen, and rewrote everything. Orion would inherit not because he asked, but because he never did. I added protections, clauses, permanence. By dawn, the envelope with footage was sliding under the health department's door. Weeks passed and Glownest decayed. An article. Surfaced wellness retreat under review. Anonymous footage. Safety concerns? No names, no photos. But everyone knew. Their bookings halted. Their social media turned silent. Kalissa's voice, once constant, was gone. One morning I saw her screaming. On the porch, barefoot, shoving boxes into her car while Darren tried to steady her. I walked past without slowing. Then a card arrived. White lilies on the front. 3 words inside. Thank you. Ava's handwriting. She had never thanked me before. Not long after, Darren came to my porch. His jacket hung loose, his face hollow. He didn't enter. "Did you always love Orion more?" he asked, voice raw. I saw not the businessman, not the polished pitchman, but my boy, the one who used to collect stones at the dock. "I loved you more than you'll ever know. That's why I had to stop." He closed his eyes, nodded once, and left without another. Word. Orion arrived days later, carrying a box of his father's letters. We opened them at the same table Julian once sanded by hand. Envelopes, sketches, old receipts, pieces of a life carefully kept. Orion read quietly, smiled sometimes, sighed. Others, "You could have gone to the police, Mom," he said. "I know," I replied. "But undoing themselves lasts longer." His hand covered mine. Its understanding passed without words. Time softened. Kalissa became rumor selling trinkets under another name. Darren vanished west, or nowhere at all. I didn't ask. I didn't need to. One evening, I lit Julian's cedar salt candle beneath his photograph. His hand in the picture, holding Orion's small palm. I whispered, "We made it." By morning, the kettle sang again, not sharp but soft. I brewed tea in the stoneware mug Kalissa once offered with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. I keep it not for sentiment, but as a reminder, not everything poured must be swallowed. Steam rose like ribbon, curling into sunlight. Outside, the garden hummed lavender, mint, bees, busy at the blossoms. They wanted me small, erased. Instead, I stayed long enough to watch them unravel. I lifted the mug, closed my eyes, and drank not bitterness, but clarity.